Good afternoon and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at pitching for today, the 26th of September. It is Friday. We do have a 12-game main slate ahead of us this evening. Do not believe that we have any weather issues to worry about here. We will take a look at our weather station. I believe he gave an update of Atlanta, possible delay. Yeah. So nothing to worry about. Winds blowing out in Wrigley, but that is not on the main slate, so we don't have to worry about that issue. We do get a game in Sacramento. Obviously the best hitting environment on the night. Atlanta's not too terrible for hitting either. Boston as well seems to be solid for the bats, but we are here to talk about pitching. A reminder that this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate, and I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play in FanDuel, cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, with all that said and done, let's take a look at some of the games. There are games that do matter, and there are games that mean absolutely nothing. Baltimore and the Yankees does matter to the Yankees, tied with the Blue Jays for the division lead, also tied for the number 1 seed. So a lot of importance for the Yankees. Will Warren taking on the Orioles. He hasn't been very strong over the last month and a half. It's been since August 11th since he put up a 18-plus fantasy point performance. His K numbers really haven't been there either. That's definitely a worry. Gives up a home run per start, basically, at this point. 3 starts against Baltimore, not the greatest performances. Ks have been there, but plenty of base runners, etc. I'm probably going to pass on Will Warren. I do wish it was a lefty going for the Yankees against the Orioles, so for that reason, I'm probably out on Will Warren. On the other side of things, Trevor Rogers just been absolutely phenomenal all season long. Big worry is the fact that his last start came against this Yankee squad a week ago. He's allowed to throw a season-high 106 pitches. This will be his last start of the year. Do I think he throws 106 pitches again? I'm not so sure, but he's put together such a phenomenal season that it would not shock me to see him go out there for 100 pitches again. Generally, a little less than a K per inning type guy, but he does have some K upside in this matchup. It is super volatile, but he has a much greater ceiling to me than what Warren does. So I will sprinkle in some Trevor Rogers, even though I think the Yanks lineup is one that could cause him some problems. He's just managed to get through everybody all season long. He's yet to give up more than 3 runs in a start. Tampa Bay, Toronto. Adrian Hauser. Game doesn't mean anything for Tampa Bay. You saw Drew Rasmussen only go a few innings. He did rack up pitch count, but still just a few innings. I could see Hauser being somewhat limited here. The 75, 80 pitches. He also could go out and throw 100, but it's just not a spot I want to utilize him, especially against a Toronto team that has to win. They are aiming for that 1 seed. So on the other side, Shane Bieber. 1 elite start, 1 really strong start with Toronto. A couple of mediocre. Even the mediocre one, he gave up 5 earned. It's not an easy matchup per se, even though Tampa Bay is much weaker on the road. And that's where he gets him tonight. I am going to use some Bieber. Don't love the $9,800 price tag, but I will use him in hopes that we get, the postseason type atmosphere as Toronto's home for the weekend to try to clinch the AL East. So I do expect the stadium to be kind of electric overall. Detroit, Boston. Detroit's just on the struggle bus mightily. They really need somebody to step up and give them an elite start. Casey Mize has that upside, but he also can struggle a bit on the road, which is where he's at. So there is a bit of a worry in that regard for me. Boston, and they're playing fine. They're kind of locked into whatever their spot is. They haven't officially clinched yet, but they are a game up on the last wildcard spot, so 2 games up on Houston. Then they do need a W, but Detroit probably needs the W even more. Tied with Cleveland for the division, but also that means they're tied for the last wildcard spot, just a game up on Houston. Kyle Harrison on the other side looked actually strong for Boston last time out against Tampa Bay, who does struggle against left-handed pitching, but Detroit can strike out a lot against left-handed pitching. They do have power, as we saw to begin yesterday's game against Parker Messick, but there's plenty of K upside. I'm intrigued by Kyle Harrison. I am going to sprinkle him in. I'm kind of debating on what to do with Casey Mize. I might include him, but I might remove him kind of as a last man in. He's going to be one of probably a couple guys that I'll debate on maybe for 1 or 2 spots in my pitcher pool. Texas, Cleveland, Jack Leiter hasn't looked very good the last few. His road numbers are worse than his home numbers. He walks a ton of guys. He's taken on a Cleveland team that's been really hot in September. They're 8-2 over their last 10. They did just lose yesterday, but he dominated Cleveland the one time he faced them. I don't see that happening again. So this is a spot I'm actually going to fade Jack Leiter. And since Texas was eliminated, I would not be shocked if he only throws 80 to 85 pitches. We saw DeGrom dominate and still only throw 70-some pitches. Kind of like I predicted. I just wasn't expecting the domination that he did put out there. On the other side, Slade Cecconi, 25 plus in 2 out of his last 3 starts, has gone through really dominant stretches, and then he has struggled. The Texas lineup probably is going to be weaker than you like to see, and so for that, I am playing Slade Cecconi. His numbers in Cleveland haven't been that strong. He's been much better on the road, but still, I think it's a decent spot for him. He wasn't great against Texas first time, but he wasn't bad either. Just 2 solo home runs. Just strikeouts weren't there, etc. I will bet that this will be a far different looking lineup than he saw that day against Texas. I assume Semien and Seager were in that start, unless it happened recently. Close. I don't remember when Seager went out for sure, but much softer lineup for Slade Cecconi to face, so I will be using Slade on this slate. Mets Marlins, super important game for the Mets as well as they try to hold off Cincinnati and Arizona for that last wild card spot. Their game up on Cincinnati, 2 on Arizona. So a win will go a long way. They're turning it over to Brandon Sproat, who's shown some volatility so far at the major league level, but he's also shown some upside. So if things kind of come together, there's upside. I'm going to use him, but I'm not going to want to be too heavy. Miami just doesn't strike out enough for a team, that can struggle offensively. They've barely scored more runs than the Nationals on the season. Similar in runs scored, a little better, but still similar to like the Angels and Orioles. So it's not like they have a dominant offense. They just put the ball in play a little bit more. But Sproat has been better on the road. The walks can be the issue for him. On the other side, 70 Alcantara. I will be utilizing him. 22 plus in 6 out of his last 7 starts. Things have definitely clicked for him. Put up a 26 against the Mets the last time he faced them. Just a 15 or so the first time, but still, I know it's a dangerous spot, but he has been far better at home, whereas overall numbers have definitely come down as the season progresses, and his strikeout numbers have increased as well. So he's definitely rounding into form as the season closes out. Good trends for next year for Sandy Alcantara, but for this one, I am going to utilize him against the Mets. It's a dangerous spot. I get it. Mets are battling. Some of the guys have been pretty hot, but still, I am going to play Sandy Alcantara. I like the way that he's closing the season out. Pittsburgh and Atlanta. Mitch Keller, a game that means nothing. Keller in his last 2 starts, 62 and 74 pitches. Probably only throws up to 70, 75 pitches for his last start of the season. Not somebody I'm really interested in. Unless we get a super watered down Atlanta lineup. with the season winding down. On the other side, Joey Wentz. I am interested in him just because he has shown upside, and it is a plus matchup. Just 2 earned runs allowed in each of his last 2 starts, coming off of a 7 strikeout performance. The K upside is what gets me. Probably 80 to 90 pitches. I mean, he's generally been in the low 90s, but still, I think he probably just gets a regular start. So I do have some interest. I don't want to be too heavy, just in case we do get fooled by the end of season bug and he gets pulled after 3 or 4 innings. But I do think Wentz is somebody that I can sprinkle in, even when the game doesn't matter. Quinn Priester against the Reds. I am going to go there. I do worry a little bit about not getting 6+ innings. He does rack up pitch count a little bit, but still, the strikeout upside is there. And the Reds, they're a dangerous team for sure, but they are vulnerable to the strikeout and some lulls. So I'm going to utilize Quinn Priester in this spot because the Brewers do want to lock up the 1 seed. The other side, Zach Littell, probably not going to get there, but he's been all right against the Brewers. Just not a huge K guy. His road numbers haven't been very great, but that's huge because he's pitched in multiple places now. But still, I just don't really want to pick on the Brewers, but I will play some Quinn Priester. Houston and the Angels means nothing for Hendricks, so I'm not using him. Alexander does mean a bit for Houston. I will play some Alexander, to be honest, but not very much. He gets a K boost in this matchup, but he's not the greatest. I mean, 3 starts ago, 19 fantasy points with a pretty dominant performance, so it does show the upside. So he's worth sprinkling in. He's just not somebody I want to, have in 25% of my lineups when all said and done. Arizona, San Diego. San Diego pretty much locked into their spot, I believe. I'm not sure if they can take over the Cubs for the top wild card spot, but they are locked in. So I'm just not going to use Darvish, just thinking that he probably might only throw 70 pitches, kind of a stay fresh and sharp. He just threw 78 in his last start, 82 before that. I don't really expect him to go overly deep, unfortunately. Zach Gallen on the other side has been really strong against the Padres this season, and it's a must-win for Arizona as they are 2 games back from the wild card. I will be using some Zach Gallen, just because I do expect San Diego's lineup to be a little watered down. Can't get too watered down because of the roster expansion isn't as extreme as a few years ago, but still, I would not be shocked to see a watered down lineup. Dodgers, Seattle. Seattle still has an outside shot at the 1 seed, or they're right in there. They're a game back, I believe. So I do expect Kirby to be out there and firing. It's probably a decent spot because the Dodgers did clinch the division last night, I believe, or yesterday. So they are locked into the 3 seed. I believe that's going to be a weakened lineup, etc. So Kirby's going to have more upside in that matchup. So he's somebody I want to utilize. Emmett Sheehan's thrown the ball phenomenally. I don't know what the Dodgers' plans are for the postseason. So I want to read into that one. I want to play him for sure because there's K upside against Seattle. But if there's a chance we only see him throw 3 to 4 innings, that's a big issue on a 12-game slate. Kansas City and the A's. Noah Cameron, probably decent. I probably should sprinkle him in because the A's can strike out a bunch, but it is a volatile spot. He has been pitching extremely well over the last 3 starts. He was strong against the A's the first time he faced them, so he's probably worth a few. Mason Barnett, not going to make my pool because Kansas City doesn't offer a whole lot of K upside. Last game on the slate, German Marquez. I just can't get there. I get he's pitching in a ballpark I like to take pitching. I'm probably just not going to do it. Trevor McDonald does intrigue me. I want to dig into his minor league numbers. A week ago, or 5 days ago, he was dominant against the Dodgers. Didn't pick up strikeouts, but that's a pretty strong line. Gets a K increase against Colorado. So he's super intriguing to me, even at 4K. If he has 6-inning upside, I'm all for it. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on. Get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. You want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I'll drop links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And best of luck, everybody.